Hello, everyone. I want to take this opportunity to introduce you to somebody very special in my life, Master Charles Cannon, my spiritual teacher of many, many years. I'm in Virginia right now at the Synchronicity Sanctuary in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, recharging and plugging in to get ready for the next round in India. And in the course of a conversation the other day with Master Charles, I was bringing up something that happened recently, a very tragic event. And I have friends in both Pakistan and in India, and this event took place in Pakistan. I'm sure that you are all familiar with it, when 137 children were brutally shot and killed by the Taliban. Devastating loss of life, and hearts are shattered, not only in Pakistan but around the world, including India, which was reaching out to its neighbor with love and compassion. And I was getting messages on Facebook about, what do you have to say about this? We want to hear from you on this. And I felt that an event like this, I felt so deeply definitely deeply affected by it, and I was at a loss for words. And in the course of talking with Master Charles, I asked him about his views on it from a more enlightened, holistic perspective. And I thought what he had to say was very inspiring. So I asked him, would you be willing to share this with the people that I interact with, so that we could all learn from this and be inspired by your words and wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we were talking about is that this event of the slaughter of these children is really the happening of life. Life happens in myriad ways. Some of the happenings of life are positive, some of the happenings of life are negative, because all experience is relative. You can't have only one polarity, so there's always a mix, negative and positive. But it happens in this way so that we can have an experience. And through all our experience, we grow. That's why we're here. We're here as human beings to experience life, and through the experience of life to grow or to evolve. Then the question is, what's the measurement of our growth? How do we measure that in human experience? And it is our self-awareness. We progressively become more and more and more aware, and the more aware we are, the more whole we are. We have a broader picture of what life is, of who we are and what life is. So through our experience, we are growing, we are evolving, and we're becoming more aware. So let's apply that to this happening that your question is about, the slaughter of these children. What does this happening say to us? It says to us that we don't have much regard for life. We don't have much value for life, or it's not our ultimate value. We have other values that perhaps are higher for us or more important for us. And because we don't value life, we don't honor life. We don't honor it in ourselves, and we don't honor it in each other. But if we were whole, if we had really evolved self-awareness, we would recognize that life has to be the highest value, because without it, we have nothing. Without the life that empowers us equally, no experience is possible. So if we don't evolve to the full value and thus the honoring of life, we're not really whole. And that's what this experience is showing us. It's showing us that we're very fragmented in our experience of life. We're not whole. We're not really evolved and aware, and we have to learn from it. It has to show us that. And perhaps that's why experiences like this happen, so that we can see where our feet are in our greater evolution as a species. We can see where we're going, and we can learn from the experience that's happening. So if we see an experience like this in which hundreds of children are slaughtered, that life is totally dishonored, then the question is, okay, what do I learn from this in terms of who I'm choosing to be? Because who I choose to be is my experience of this. And my experience then becomes the contribution that I make to our world. So if this experience is showing me that life is not being honored, then perhaps I have to question that in myself. And I have to say, do I value life? Is it my ultimate value, my highest value? And am I in the constant honoring of life? Do I honor that in every person that I meet? And if I can actualize that in my experience, that life is ultimate value, and that to dishonor it is really desecration. So therefore, such desecration would fragment me. What I dishonor in another, I really dishonor in myself. So if I would sanction the killing of anything, of any form of life, let alone human beings, I'm really killing the life in myself because I'm dishonoring it in another. So I have to begin to look at my value for life and how I can then honor that in everyone I meet, by first honoring it in myself and then honoring it and valuing it in everyone and everything that I encounter. So for me, experiences like this are experiences through which we grow, through which we become more aware and are there for us to pay attention to them and to question ourselves constantly in relation to such happenings of life. And so this is a good example because it really goes to the heart of what is really highest value here and how aware are we of it. How whole are we? How fragmented we are. And by virtue of how much of this kind of experience happens in our world, it shows us that as a world population, the human species is very fragmented. We are not as evolved as we like to think we are. But the most important question then really is, what do we do about it? Because, bottom line, we're here to grow. We're here to evolve. And that has to be of paramount importance for us. So in relation to all the happenings of life that we encounter, within those happenings, who are we choosing to be?
It seems to take so much to get our attention in these times. And I think you hit upon something very important about getting to the heart of the matter. And incidents like these, especially when they involve children, pierce our own hearts, even from across the world, and remind us that we're connected, that we're not exclusive, we're not insulated, isolated, just on our own, that we are connected to a much larger whole. We are each a part of it. So, And that's what could motivate us, I think, when our feelings are so affected. That motivates us to take the kinds of actions in our everyday lives, perhaps, because it increases our awareness of that connection, and that we want to nurture that in ourselves and with other people that we interact with.
And this is nothing new in the history of human experience, and you can go back to the axial age, the time of the Buddha and Confucius, for example, a contemporary of the Buddha, but in another part of the world. And what was the primary teaching of the Buddha and Confucius? And Confucius is most well known for it, and it's called, even in Christianity in the West, the Golden Rule. And what did the Golden Rule say? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In other words, don't do to anybody else what you wouldn't want done to you. So why would you allow killing? Why would you allow the dishonoring of life? Is that what you want to happen to you? So if you make it self-referential in simple, basic terms like that, don't do to anybody else what you wouldn't want done to you. And then it becomes, okay, what would you like to experience? How would you like to be in relation to other people? And how would you like them to be in relation to you? Well, how about love? How about compassion? How about kindness?
Yes.
Can you come from a place of, I choose just to be kind to everybody that I meet, to be compassionate for their problems, their difficulties, their journeys, as I'm compassionate to my own, because I wouldn't want anybody to suffer, and if they are suffering, I'm compassionate to their suffering. And at the same time, I can be loving, and I can be honoring of the life that we all share, that I see in their eyes. When I look into their eyes, what do I see looking back at me but the same life that empowers me? So I can love that life in them. I can love that life in myself. I can honor it, and I can be kind and compassionate. In this way, this then becomes actionable. It's what I can do right here and right now. I can fill myself with love. I can fill myself with compassion. I can fill myself with kindness. And then that's the contribution I'm going to make to my world. And it makes a difference. If one person does it, it makes a difference. What if 100,000 made this their focus, or brought their awareness to it, or awakened to the possibility of, what if 1 million, what if 1 billion? Then you begin to see how how we evolve, how we grow through such experiences. The experience calls our attention to it, and then it becomes actionable. What can I do? Who can I be in relation to this that will change it, that will evolve it, that will make a difference? And then you can see the possibility of the change and the growth and the evolution in human experience being something that is possible. You can open to that possibility. And it's as simple as it begins with each of us. So rather than sitting on the sidelines and reading about this in the paper or watching it on the news and being horrified by it and being angry about it or saying that it should be other than it is, the question is, wait a minute. Who are you choosing to be in this moment in relation to it? Rather be loving, be kind, be compassionate in yourself, and commit yourself to sharing that experience with everyone you meet, to eliminate the dishonoring of life in your experience. And you are one person, and that one person living in that truthful way with life as ultimate value become whole and make a holistic contribution to our world, and it makes a difference.
And in that way, what better way to honor each and every one of those lives is to love more. If each of those deaths generated more love around the world, then it will not be wasted.
Oh, you got it.
And it's a shame their lives had to end that way. But if it causes us to wake up and to love more, and then who knows what else can be prevented as a result of that. So that's very inspiring. And I think it's a good reminder. And it all boils down to love more. And that's how we can be the best human beings we could possibly be.
And most importantly, make life your ultimate value.
Yes.
It has to be the ultimate value for everyone.
Yes.
And until it is, the world is not going to change. It's going to keep on repeating the same experience again and again in many different ways to get our attention to the fact that we don't honor life.
That's right.
So what do we have to get from it? Again, we have to get from it that we've got to increase our value for life.
Yes.
And we have to honor life. And that begins by loving it in ourselves, loving it, being compassionate, being kind with everyone and everything that we encounter. Then we open to the holistic possibility of a radically different world, because the people who create that world become radically different, each in themselves and collectively together.
Yes. What a beautiful way to start the new year. To love like an extremist.
Very good. Absolutely.
So, thank you, Master Charles.
You're most welcome.
And thank you, everyone.